The state of Arkansas and the entire college football world, for that matter, is mourning the loss of one of the greatest coaches to walk the sidelines. Former Razorback head football coach Lou Holtz passed away this morning at the age of 89. Holtz began his college career at William & Mary in 1969. He spent a few years at other locations, including the NFL, before arriving in Fayetteville in 1977. At Arkansas, he compiled a record of 60 wins, 21 losses, and 2 ties. One of the biggest wins was a 31-6 win over Oklahoma in the 1978 Orange Bowl. In an interview with Coach Holtz 6 years ago, he told us everything about coaching in Fayetteville was ideal.
I think the players, the people, the alumni, the enthusiasm, the excitement. You know, was here 7 years, had 7 bowl bids, I think 4 top 10 finishes. But the Southwest Conference then was like the SEC is today. We had 6, 7 teams in the final top 20 each and every year. But just, there's no place like Arkansas. The pride they have and the support that they showed, it was memorable.
He also told us living in Fayetteville was very enjoyable.
Just enjoyed the people here. And 3 of our children graduated from Fayetteville High School. They still consider Fayetteville their home.
Holtz went on to great success with Notre Dame, where in 1988 he won a national championship with a perfect 12-0 record. Holtz is the only college football coach to lead 6 different programs to bowl games and the only coach to guide 4 different programs to the final top 15 rankings. After retiring from coaching, Holtz worked as a TV college football analyst for CBS Sports in the 90s and then on ESPN from 2005 to 2015. On May 1st, 2008, Holtz was elected into the College Football Hall of Fame. Over the years, it was Coach Holtz's wit that made him a fan favorite.
I'm not a singer, I'm not a dancer, I'm not an entertainer, I'm not an intellect. When I graduated from high school, I was in the lower third of my high school class. That's a fact. If it wasn't for people like me, there could have been no upper half of the class. So
And one thing I've learned at an old age, you always have problems, you always have difficulties, you always have obstacles. And I don't care whether you're young or old. That's part of life, and handling them is all it's about.
That wit actually came to light in 2015 when Holtz said then he planned to be buried on the Notre Dame campus. He says it figures because it was fitting. He said it was then, then it was where the alumni buried me here every Saturday. Fort Smith City directors will open back up the rebidding process for the water slide construction project at Parrot Island. It comes after the city was sued for allegedly breaking bidding rules on the municipal and state level. City awarded the project contract to one company after waiving competitive bidding. Bidding starts tomorrow, and the board will talk about the ones they get at the next week's meeting. Board also extended the deadline for completion of the consent decree projects with EPA. Before, the city had until next year to complete all sewer and water pipe upgrades, but has now moved the deadline to 2038. The board says it will give them more flexibility financially and better track their compliance goals with the EPA. A major update from the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office in the death investigation involving Charity Bialis and her 2 children. Investigators say the Arkansas State Crime Lab has now made its ruling. Charity's ex-husband has also made a statement tonight following these updates. 5 News reporter Bo Russell was in Sebastian County today and tells us the latest.
The press release sent out by the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office is the most detailed amount of information we've gotten so far in this case. According to that press release, an autopsy report done by the Arkansas State Crime Lab rules that Charity Bialis' death was a suicide and her children's were homicides. Investigators say they reviewed transcripts and deposition information from the divorce case and say Charity wanted to be, quote, reconciled with her estranged husband, but that it didn't happen. The Sheriff's Office also says Tesla location data and cell tower pings do not place her estranged husband near the home the night the deaths are believed to have happened. According to the Sheriff's Office, home security records show the alarm system was deactivated from Charity's phone around 10 p.m. on December 2nd, and the alarm company's records do not show any doors or windows opening after that. Deputies say when they arrived the next morning, the home appeared secured and they needed a key to get inside. A statement sent by attorneys of Charity Bialis' ex-husband say, quote, Mr. Bialis continues to recover from the tragic event that took his children from him. He would like to thank all of the law enforcement officials working on this case for their diligent efforts to find the truth. we were not surprised by the findings in the autopsy, as we knew that Mr. Bialis was not responsible for the death of his wife nor his children. Now, this is a case that has grabbed the attention of many, making national headlines, and has led to a lot of speculation. Bialis' attorney addressed that in their statement, asking for people to refrain from, quote, defamatory and libelous false accusations and statements, including those made on social media, going on to say they may pursue legal action. The release goes on to say that they still have search warrants to execute on electronic devices and that this is still an ongoing investigation. However, they also say that they haven't seen any evidence that conflicts with the autopsy report. In Sebastian County, covering news where you live, I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
We also have new information tonight after a Springdale public school bus driver was arrested this morning while allegedly driving a school bus drunk. 7-year-old Dawn Russell was the driver and allegedly turned too wide and hit a utility pole. According to police report, police say she also hit a tree. That report says about 53 students were on board the bus, but no one was hurt. Police interviewed Russell at the school district's bus lot afterwards and arrested her there after a field sobriety test. School district says she is no longer a district employee and is reviewing, quote, check-in and dispatch protocols. New at 10 tonight, several local CDL training schools are facing possible removal after a nationwide crackdown by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer joining us in the studio now. And Lauren, industry leaders say they don't expect a major impact on the shortage that faces Arkansas trucking.
Yeah, they recently conducted more than 1,400 investigations across the country, citing hundreds of training providers for issues like unqualified instructors, improper vehicles, and failure to meet state requirements. There's about 9 schools and training programs in our area that could be impacted, but those I spoke to say safety is non-negotiable.
It's alarming because the feeling is that safety is being and has been compromised.
Doug Carter operates Mid-America Truck Driving School in Springdale. His school is not on the proposed removal list, but he says meeting federal standards is not optional.
Good people, good equipment, good record keeping, and a knowledge of the rules and regulations.
Carter says there's 3 core parts of training for a CDL license: theory, skills, and road experience. And when schools cut corners, it can hurt the entire industry.
Every barrel, has bad apples, and I think that those are the ones that bring down the level of safety.
The trucking industry remains a major economic driver in the state, employing 1 in 11 Arkansans and moving about 80% of the state's freight.
The service that the industry provides is really important, and it does require a significant workforce in order to make that happen. But I don't want to compromise the integrity of that process in order to meet the needs.
Shannon Newton, president of the Arkansas Trucking Association, says the crackdown on self-certified programs means they're keeping the roads safer and the integrity of the career alive.
From our perspective, it's actually a good sign that there is some guardrails in place.
While recruiting drivers has been a long-standing challenge, both Newton and Carter don't expect this to have much impact here.
The industry has managed to cope with it and continues to do so, and I don't think that there's any substitute for efforts to make our highways safer.
The city of Fort Smith, which was on the list, says it's taken corrective action and voluntarily paused its training program while waiting for formal confirmation from the Department of Transportation. Lauren Spencer, 5 News.